Good afternoon, and welcome to the Milford Select Board's meeting of November 28, 2023. When we start our meeting, we'll go with the first signing of the warrant. I'll have a motion to sign the warrant.
We signing the warrant?
Actually, we're not tonight, Mr. Chairman. We'll wait till Monday.
Okay, it was on the agenda, that's why I saw it.
Yeah, it's no minutes and no...
Okay, and again, I didn't see any minutes, that's why I said there would be a signing of the warrant. So we'll go right into the public hearing.
There you go.
Okay, this is a public hearing, and the reason why we're having this public hearing is an application for the transfer of a Class 1 license for Imperial Hyundai Corporation, doing business as Genesis of Milford, to MAG, M-A-G, capital M, capital A, capital G, Retail Holdings, HMI LLC, doing business as McGovern Hyundai of Milford, for the business located at 154 East Main Street, Milford, Mass. And all paperwork is in order. It was checked. Application is filled out properly. When we go, it's in the proper zone. No change of actual use. No outstanding taxes. Treasurer has no concerns. Fire department has no objections. Police chief has approved, and Board of Health does not permit this, so it's fine with them as well. And therefore, where I do remember that site back when I was a kid, it was Scott Ahern, going back years and years, decades ago. So it always has been a car dealership, and there would be no interference with the change of use or anything like that. So does anybody want to speak?
Thanks for having us. And,
Okay.
Can I get your
sign
name?
away. We'll sign.
Can I get your names
Okay,
for the
so-
record, though? Can I get your names for the record?
Yes. I'm Michael Penner.
How do you spell that, Michael?
P-E-N-N-E-R.
Okay.
Pretty bad when the chief of police knows how to spell your name.
I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to say anything.
My name's John Kennedy.
John Kennedy.
Very original.
I can get that one.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Very good. So you're going to be taking over, John?
Yeah, so I'm the Vice President of Operations for McGovern Automotive Group.
Okay.
Matt McGovern's the principal. He's not here, but it will fall under my umbrella. It's I have 12 stores under my umbrella.
Oh, beautiful.
We have a total of
Okay.
28, so.
Yeah.
And this will be, I live in Douglas, just built a house about 2 years ago in Douglas.
Right.
So it's kind of my on the way home, and it will be a great addition to our.
Right, so it's not that you're on a learning curve, you actually know what you're doing with all those other facilities.
We know what we're doing by now,
Right.
hopefully, but we're always learning still, so.
Very good, yes, right, continuous work in progress, they say.
Absolutely.
Right, and, okay, very good. Any other questions or concerns from my colleagues?
Not at all.
No?
My
Okay.
understanding, Mr. Chairman, is that we have to vote to grant the license
Right.
first,
Right,
with the contingency that the other license
is rescinded.
surrendered.
Yeah, you just
Exactly.
can't run two at the same time. so-
Right,
So
right.
that's something that we should discuss because we're going to be in business for like another week.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
And all the dates would be, you'd have Ricky
They're
anyway,
operating
right?
under that license, it's just contingent upon the time.
So once we close next week, our Imperial license is done, and then does it still run till the 31st, or is it just done at that
If
time?
they're going to continue to operate, I need you to turn yours, I need the original turned in, and then they would
On the
operate.
date of their operation.
Okay.
Data close.
So they pick it up, and then we drop off. So
Right.
okay, we'll do that.
Yes.
Yep, that's easy.
Okay?
Very good.
Okay, thanks.
Entertain a motion to accept this application.
So I make a
For the
motion,
transfer?
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we issue a Class 1 license to MAG Retail Holdings, HMI LLC, DBA McGovern Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Of Milford, for the business located at 154 East Main Street, Milford. And the contingency is that Imperial Hyundai will turn in their license on the same day that the McGovern Group stops to operate.
Good.
I
Michael?
would gladly second that, Mr.
And I
Chairman.
make that unanimous. Good luck to you, and welcome to Milford, and good fortune to you.
We look forward to
Thank
getting
you.
a great day.
And thanks for all you've done.
Yeah.
Anything we can do, please reach out to us.
Yeah, thank you to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really appreciate it. Anything we can do for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care, nice to meet you.
Good to see you now. Take care now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So I'm the executive.
Okay. Thanks. Oh, excuse me. And there was no one on for this public hearing at all, no one in the audience I could see. That's why, for any comment or concerns or anything like that, which was good. Okay, next on the agenda is a scheduled appointment with the Highway Surveyor, Scott Christopherly. He's here to discuss Public Works Mutual Aid Program at the request of the board to consider Milford to become a mutual aid town. Participation in the program takes the weight off the town in an emergency trying to deal with the public safety crisis, and that's true. I mean, I know the police have a mutual aid agreement, fire department, and also the Board of Health. It also allows communities to support each other during a time when you have a crisis and all of a sudden and you're overwhelmed and you really don't have the capabilities that are affected to help the situation. As a matter of fact, to show you how important they are, especially for public works, I sat on a board for the state with the mayor of Leominster, Mayor Mazzarella, and they were devastated with floods a month or two ago. And it was so bad that, the roads were inaccessible, people were losing food and no access to hospitals and whatnot. It became a disaster. And thank God they did have that mutual aid agreement where other towns and cities came in to help them out. And he was most happy with that as well. So that's how important it is. Scotty, you're on, kid.
All right, I just want to hand these out to you guys. This is just the legislation that allows us to do
Thank you,
this.
Scott.
Talks
Thank you.
about all the indemnification and all that, so. All right, so, well, 5 or 6 years ago, we had those storms out in western Mass. We had ice storms, really, really bad. We got nothing. And I remember reaching out to MEMA and said, we have a lot of equipment, we have guys that are willing to help. And it was something we can't do. There was no way of doing it. It wasn't a legal thing to do. And at the time, the discussions in Mass Highway Associations were about mutual aid. And that was the style of the process. So I immediately jumped on that committee. I wanted to be involved.
That's great.
In that. So I actually am what you call a CMAC, a County Mutual Aid Coordinator for Worcester County. I do all the coordination.
Wow.
That's how we got involved with Princeton in that flood. So my job was to reach out and find towns that were willing to help or could help. You try to find the towns as close as possible. Worcester actually reached out, Jay Fink from Worcester, said, yeah, I'll send my guys, I'll send my equipment, we'll take care of it. So it worked out well. So that's what that whole thing was about. So believe it or not, Milford's never been part of the mutual aid. Even though I'm the CMAC, we've never actually signed up for it.
Right.
So I'm glad that you guys would take this opportunity and give us that opportunity to sign up and help, or take help if we ever need it. I remember last winter, we had a blizzard, or the winter before, and the town of Wareham actually needed front end loaders. Yeah, we got a couple inches of snow.
Yeah.
So I had to help them out with that.
Sure. And it works both ways.
Yeah.
One of these days, we may need help from all these other communities that you're helping out as well.
Very similar situation as far as the fire, how they do it. It's all covered the same way. The insurances are all the same way. We have to cover our employees, our own liability. It's all the same. So, if you guys, if this is something we want to do, I definitely recommend we do it.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing, especially what you just mentioned. You can be helping somebody, and there's no liability insurance, there's no other, expenses that we anybody else would have to pay.
When FEMA has kicked in and towns collect money for disasters, they will sometimes reimburse the overtime. I would set up so we don't have to spend the least amount of overtime as we can.
Right.
It's not like a fire. You got to get the fire out. This
Right.
is help when we can.
Right.
We're not obligated. We're not obligated after the initial emergency. There's no obligation. So, Worcester was good enough to leave their guys there for a week. A couple laborers, a truck driver, and an equipment operator to help them out for a week. So, and they work their regular 8-hour days.
Well, I think you're right. When it says it here, what Ricky put, it takes the weight off the town in an emergency trying to, comply and
Tell
take
you,
it.
when Princeton reached out to me, they were scattering. They didn't know what to do. They seriously, their brains were going in 10 different directions. They couldn't organize.
Right.
They didn't know who to call, what to do. So that's where I jumped in.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And I hooked them up with who they got to talk to, and they took care of it.
A big help, and we're glad we have you in our town, which is fine. Anybody have any questions, concerns, or any remarks you want to make to Scott?
I think it's second nature to me, having worked in law enforcement, because it's not just day to day or, the major crisis. It's, you can share resources, period. next door, one of the communities might have, one of their machines is down for a week and they already into a job, and you give them a hand, and a month from now, they give you a hand. I think it makes, police and fire, it's very, very common. And the police, we actually learn the whole, scheme of things as far as mutual aid from fire.
Yep.
Because, you get a major situation, and as you see, if we do have a fire here, they not only come and fight the fire, but they put, firefighters and equipment
station, yeah.
at the station to respond to the next call. So
Right.
it really makes a huge difference.
It makes total sense. I mean, it really does.
Sure does.
And it goes back many years. You look at the Christmas tree, I think they're going to light it tonight on the Boston Common.
Yes.
And that's when the city of Boston went and helped in Nova Scotia. They had the ship burning, and there were many, many, many deaths, but that's why they give the city of Boston a Christmas tree every year.
Oh, I saw that this morning.
That's where it comes from. So mutual aid has been important, even that kind of a distance. And as you know, there's FEMA and the rest, they use resources locally to go help elsewhere, outside of the state even. There's teams of, professionals, whether it be folks in your profession or police or fire, so.
Yeah, typically we would deal with MEMA or FEMA on, blizzards and
Right.
equipment. Like in a year we had 15 inches of snow. I mean, we were self-contained. We took care of it ourselves, but I tried to get a little help with some stuff. It was very, very difficult. It was very unorganized because they're trying to, service 300 towns.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's better to have this situation where we
Yeah, I
can
agree.
do it on a small
That's for
scale,
sure.
you know?
And that doesn't take away from us either, because if we have a situation ourselves,
Right.
we're obligated to our own municipality and our own residents and for their health and safety and whatnot.
Yeah, and of course, in any disaster, we're not going to say, oh, we're going to send people and we're going to be shorthanded. We-
No,
we gotta make
exactly,
sure we can-
right. So it's a win-win for everybody. It really is. Michael?
Well, I think the important thing, and, Scott, not saying that it would be only for plowing, but as you know, you drive down the Mass Pike, and the signs flash and plow drivers wanted. Every single town around us has got a flashing sign somewhere in town, either looking for help or looking for plow. So that tells you that they're operating at, minimum standards right now, and then a catastrophe happens. So to have somebody as a backup that you can call to, and then to Tom's point is, mutual aid with fire and police, the situation we had a couple of weeks here, we had multiple towns in here backing their police department up.
Yep.
So it's a win-win for everybody. So thank you very much for doing it.
I actually saw a situation a few years back in the middle of a snowstorm, the DPW, before they went into work, it was on fire, burned to the ground. They lost all their equipment, had nothing. So imagine if that happened in Milford, we lost.
Wow.
I don't
Yeah, I
even
know.
want to think about that.
No, I don't want to
No,
think about
don't,
that.
please.
That's a scary thought.
You're not kidding.
So, and that's when the towns around kicked in, so.
You to vote on this?
Yeah, I would prefer one, yeah.
Okay. Then
I make a motion that we
to accept.
authorize the highway surveyor to, they would bring the mutual aid agreement back here, Rick, I'm assuming, because
Yeah,
it's the statute, my understanding is the
Yeah, I
statute.
want legal just to run through it also, yeah.
To present a mutual aid agreement for public works services, and that the Town of Milford Highway Department, I would assume Parks Department as well.
Well, this is going to be through the highway, if those other departments, because it could be water and sewer also. So if
Yeah.
they want to help and they can help, then yes. they would.
Okay.
Right.
To authorize through the Highway Department, the Highway Department, Parks,
Water and
and the
sewer.
Water Department, Sewer Department to provide assistance to other communities, and likewise, we would receive assistance at the time of need.
Michael?
I'm glad you second that, Mr. Chairman.
Make that unanimous. Thank you, Scott, for everything
Thank
you
you.
do.
Have a great night.
Thank you for all your help.
And Scott, when you get a mutual aid agreement, if you just
Yep,
give it to Rick, we'll sign it.
will do, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, Scott.
Okay. We'll just go right to new business, right, Ricky? No,
Yes.
we'll just know they will
Correct.
wait
Yep,
that for
thank you.
Monday. Okay, next on the agenda is the new business, and it's and attaches a gift acceptance that we need to accept from Central One Federal Credit Union to the Milford Veterans Department in the amount of $1,000. And I think that's very generous. That's that new agency that opened up on 140. And like I said, they've been very generous. As a matter of fact, we were at an opening at a gas station and retail store on downtown, outside of town a couple of weeks ago, and they actually gave $500 for the van to help the purchase of the van for the youth center. So I think these businesses that are coming in are really helpful, and we really appreciate their generosity. It helps out a lot, and we wish them much success as well. Motion to accept?
I make a motion that we accept the gift from the Central One Federal Credit Union, which is located on Route 140, the old Bank of America across from Shaw's, for the Milford Veterans Department in the amount of $1,000.
I would second that, Mr. Chairman.
And I make that unanimous. That'd be the end. Okay, so I think, and that would wrap up things for this afternoon. And anyway, to anybody who did tune in for this short but very effective meeting, I appreciate it. You have a good rest of your evening, and thank you for tuning in, and motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjournment.
Second that.
And I make that unanimous. Have a good night. Thank you.